What's good, YouTube? This your boy Chopper Style, bringing you a review on the New Mutants. I am a big fan of the X-Men franchise. So to know that a new X-Men franchise is coming out, the New Mutants, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know much about the New Mutants. I didn't even know it was based on real comic book. I thought it was just brand new characters that they made up. But come to find out, all these characters are in the comics. And that is cool because these mutants have very crazy and cool powers, and also this is a very different take on X-Men. It's more of a dark and almost kind of a horror side to X-Men. It's different, but I'm not going to lie, I liked it. This movie was not all about action, but instead suspense. I definitely never felt scared the whole entire time. So I mean, I don't know if it was supposed to scare people, but I definitely wasn't scared. No jump scares or anything. It's just how suspenseful it was, not knowing what is going on, is what I like about this movie. Having all these like nightmare looking things popping up all over the place. You're like, okay, what's going on? Has this been happening? These kids wake up, at least the main character woke up not knowing where in the hell she was. One minute she's running away with her dad. The next minute she wakes up and she's in a whole new building with new people that she does not know at all, never seen before. And on top of that, she can't even leave if she wanted to. She is surrounded by a invisible force field, so she is stuck to stay here in this building with all these new people. And also Alicia Braga. She was the pretty much the doctor in this movie, helping out these kids, or so you may think. Helping them control their powers, how to use their powers. But she was never too stern. She was never too mean. But if you got out of line or you didn't listen, she would pretty much lock you up. It's almost as if you were in prison, getting put in, the box or whatever when you were bad. They lock you up for a while and then they let you out. But she never hurt them. She never did anything to them, so you're really thinking that, okay, maybe she is helping them. But then all this craziness stuff starts to happen, and the movie does a good job of not, you don't know where this stuff is coming from, and also the main character, Danielle Moonstar, played by Blue Hunt, she has mutant powers, but nobody knows what they are or what they do. And that was very cool. Like, even the doctor, she could tell, she had a monitor and cameras everywhere. You could tell that Danielle had some powers, but they couldn't even figure out what in the hell it was, and that was cool. That's what added to the suspense. But all the other kids slash mutants there, they all knew what their powers were and they knew how to control them. But one thing I like about this movie is it didn't seem like they fully knew how to use all their powers. They had their powers, but they weren't experts at using them. But definitely Magic, played by Anaya Taylor-Joy, man. Now, she was definitely the most advanced mutant out of all of them. I mean, this girl can teleport, kind of like Nightcrawler. She can go into the limbo dimension. She has a flaming sword. And she's also the sister of Colossus. Her arm can turn into metal. And I'm like, yo, her whole body could probably do that. That doesn't make sense just for her arm. I bet you her whole body could turn to metal. Like, yo, she was sick. Like, the main character was cool, but Magic stole the show. Like, whenever she was on screen, you wanted to see her and her whooping ass. Like, yo, I can't wait to see a part two. I want to see more of her. She was amazing. There was not one character in this movie that I didn't like. All the actors did a very good job. All of them were very interesting and just trying to figure out where they came from. I was coming into this movie thinking that there was going to be a good amount of action. And there is bits and pieces. It keeps you entertained throughout the whole movie. And you get some action. But the movie is mostly story driven. And I'm not mad. Learning all these kids' backstories and what they went through, like they went through some bad, I guess childhood things. Some of them went through worse things as a child. Magic, she seemed like she went through the most trauma. It seems like she was tortured as a kid, pretty much. And tortured throughout her whole life. That's why she's so, messed up. She's not messed up. She's just very angry. But I noticed almost all of them went through killing someone on accident, learning their powers. And even the doctor, explains that, and you get to feel their pain. Like, they feel bad. They never ask for these powers. They get them. And then a lot of them kill their father, their mother, their girlfriend. And it's just sad. Like, dang, you know, they killed someone that they really cared about. And you really feel it in the movie. I like that. These kids feel trapped in jail. They can't go nowhere. They don't know what to do. But the movie is very interesting. The only thing that really bothered me about the movie is I really do feel like there was a forced relationship with the main character and Macy Williams. That's the actor's name. She was a shapeshifter. She could change into a wolf. And I liked her character. She was really good, but I really feel like there was no need for a relationship between the two. I do feel like it was forced. I mean, the main character, Danielle, just got to this place with all these new people. The last she seen was her father alive, and it's like the last thing on her mind should be, hooking up with somebody or, liking somebody. I just feel like it was forced. There was no need for that. They could have been just friends. Or if they want to have a relationship, do it in the next film or something. I just feel like it was just too forced. Now, the relationship between Magic and Sunspot, played by Henry Zaga, that is more understandable. They've been in that academy for a little bit of time. They didn't say how long, but you can tell they've been there for a minute. But Danielle just getting there, seeing what she's went through, I just feel like there was no need to have a relationship with another character. I feel like they did it just so so they can have a stronger connection. I just feel like there was no need for that. They're all in the same boat. If they're trying to get out of this, they get out together. I don't know. That's the only part that bothered me. Not too much, but still, they didn't really need to put that in. Other than that, I think this movie was good. But let's get into some spoilers. Danielle Moonstar's powers are ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. I did not know. Maybe other people there may have knew. I didn't know that the power, all these scary people popping up, were from her. I had no idea. Like, I'm glad. Like, I was surprised by it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's her powers. But her powers are so powerful that they were terrorizing everyone in the whole building. She had no control over her powers, and simultaneously, she is just affecting everyone in the whole house. And even if you kill her minions, they just come back to life, or she makes another one. It's like, dude, her power of being able for people's fears to come to life and haunt you forever to try to kill you, that is crazy OP. And then to top it off, that big ass bear. Yo, what the hell? How do you defeat something like that? Like, the only way to defeat Danielle Moonstar is if you can get to her to kill her. That's it. But you can't stop her minions. Like, yo, her power is ridiculous, man. But I liked it. It was definitely cool. I liked all their powers. Charlie Heaton, I believe his character was portraying Cannonball. Yo, he was sweet, man. With having, like, I don't know, jet propulsion. Like, he can move at super speed and it's pretty much indestructible when he's going through that. And we didn't really get to see him do too much, but you can definitely see how powerful he is. Sunspot, his powers, his whole body flames on pretty much like Fantastic Four. And he also gets super strength. And it's like, we don't really get to see, the only person we get to see do work is Magic and Danielle Moonstar. Those are the only people we get to see do work. But hers was on accident. She wasn't trying to hurt anybody. But Magic, she was doing work. Everybody else, you can tell they are way more powerful. They just don't know how to use their powers to the fullest. And I'm really hoping, there's definitely going to be a part 2 to this. And I wonder which take are they going to do? Are they going to join the X-Men? Because they do reference the X-Men in this movie. They think that they're training for the X-Men, and they come to find out, really they're training to be assassins or killers. And I wonder where this next film is going to take. Like, are they going to still do the horror stuff? This horror stuff, it worked for this film, but the next one, is it going to be the same thing? I would love to see more action. The action in this movie, once you get to it, is phenomenal. It is amazing. It's like, yo, I like the horror and the suspense and all that, but give me more of that action. I'm really hoping with part 2 that they can, make it just as good as this one. However they do it, I'm cool with it. As long as it's entertaining and has more action, I want to see these mutants get to work. One thing about X-Men and the mutants is you want to see their powers. You want to see them fight. That's the whole point of X-Men, right? So I would love to see them fight Sentinels or join it with the X-Men. Maybe go to Professor Xavier. They can help him out. They're pretty much rebooting the whole X-Men series, so I'm very interested to see where this is gonna go. I was not expecting to like this movie as much as I did. The previews didn't give away a whole bunch, except that very last preview when they start to show action. I'm like, yo, I'm definitely going to see this. And I was, very surprised by this movie. It was good. I mean, there really wasn't a villain. The villain was, I mean, you only had the doctor. She was the only bad person in the entire movie. Like, she was by herself. You would think that she would have somebody else there with her for backup or something, but it was just her. And it's like, okay, she has a good power to have force fields and all that, but these kids' powers are ridiculous, especially Magic's. And it's like, how is she supposed to stop all of them at the same time if they want to turn on her? And you seen, like, she got annihilated by just one of them, and it's like, her shield power was very strong. She could lock them in there. But Danielle, she completely annihilated her. I mean, completely annihilated her. They could have caught that doctor off guard and got to her. I mean, if the wolf chick can do it, then, I don't know. They could, I feel like the doctor should have had someone else there to help her. That would have been kind of more cool. But they worked it out. The villain, there pretty much wasn't one. She was a good girl. But I don't know. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with that. But the movie was still great. But if you liked the video, please give me a like, comment, subscribe. Chopper Style out. It was my favorite cartoon show
For an
growing up.
origin
So
story,
I would
this movie did a
love
good
to
job
see
at
more of it,
keeping you
especially with the new
interested the whole
technology and everything they
time.
got now.
Very
I would love
suspenseful.
to see it
A
become
good,
something big. I mean, a decent amount of action. I do wish there was more, but it's an origin story. They have to do a lot of explaining, and the storytelling was very good. The movie definitely wasn't perfect, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anyone who likes X-Men. Definitely, if X-Men is your type of thing, you should like this movie. But if I had to rate this movie, I would give it a solid B. I really hope to see a new sequel to this or another movie that's going to collab with this. I really do think that they're going to try to make X-Men into something big, kind of like Marvel. I mean, there's no reason why X-Men shouldn't be big. It was a ridiculously good cartoon, the comic books, and the way it's been portrayed on the big screen, it's been like hit or miss. The first two X-Men films were good, and then after that they got crazy. The standalone Wolverine films were good. Days of Future Past, like X-Men, it just got all over the place. And I enjoyed mostly all the movies, but it was just so jumbled. It definitely needed a reboot, and I hope they can make it go together better. And I really hope it's something big. I mean, X-Men is good enough to do it. The story goes so deep